friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop, and I'm so excited to be back into the shop after a 3-day vacation. Here's what I did on my vacation.
There's an old saying that goes something like this: if you don't have the time to do the job right the first time, you'll find time to do the job right the second time. And you could add to that, if you don't have the time or money to do the job right the first time, well, then you'll find the time and the money to do it right the second time. And I could just say that's all there is to this story and go on from there, because obviously I am doing this a second time. But the truth of it is that when I built that building originally, that used to be my old workshop. It soon will be a rental house. I had a ton of those small landscape blocks, and I thought, well, I'll just use those as a way to hold that wall up. And it lasted for roughly 15 years, I guess, so it didn't do too bad. But the dirt just kept settling behind it, and they kept leaning back and falling over further, and finally they just kind of crumbled. So here we are. We're going to try to do it pretty much right this time. I'm not going to go to the extreme of putting a drain tile in behind the wall, mainly because I just didn't happen to have any drain tile handy. If I'd have had some handy, I'd have probably put it in there. But this wall doesn't catch much water at all anyway. And I'm going to put a lot of gravel in behind it, and the gravel will let what little water gets in there weep out. So I'm not worried about it at all. It didn't have any drain tile in there before with the crummy blocks that are only supposed to be stacked 4 feet high, and I had them stacked close to 8 feet high. So, it lasted a long time. I am pretty sure this will last forever. I'm going to make sure I get the good foundation going on these big blocks, and you'll see how it goes.
You won't find it on a well-traveled highway, not even on a dusty gravel road. And you have to want to be there when you find it, for it's not on any maps I know. Out across the field, through the pasture, climb along the steep and rocky trail.
At the beginning, I mentioned this was a 3-day vacation. And that's basically true. It was 3 days out of the shop. But the truth of it is, I really only worked about 4 hours each morning. The arthritis at my age is getting to be so bad that I really had to work as hard as I could in the mornings and then just rest the whole afternoon and let the arthritis calm down. I think in my old days, say 20 years ago, I could have easily done this whole project in 1 day.
When you cross that little creek in the valley, you'll see that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray, built with their hands from the forest.
As you can see, on day 1 I had a little bit of help, but my help soon disappeared and didn't make another appearance until about day 3.
Now stands as a marker for the grave.
I'm really proud to own my Bobcat. I tell you, that thing is one labor-saving device. I've often joked that if I ever sold the farm and moved into an apartment, I would probably keep my Bobcat just in case I had to move a refrigerator or something. They are one awesome machine. As you can see here in the video, we have a bucket for it. We also have forks. We also have a post hole driller, which is really awesome, especially in rocky ground, because if it hits a rock, it just stops rather than breaking a shear pin or whatever. We also have a hydraulic brush hog that I made for it, and one of the best attachments is the backhoe attachment. It is just awesome. Anytime you need to dig a ditch or a hole, it is just the perfect tool.
The The siding and shingles are tattered, the steeple leans slightly to the right, and though all the windows are shattered, you can still hear them singing at night. The brothers and sisters who worship gather in that holy place still, though they lie at rest in the valley beneath that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray, built with their hands from the forest, now stands as a marker for the grave.
As you can see in the shot here, I'm using a 4-foot level to lay these blocks. I have a tripod level and just got it all fixed up and repaired and was ready to use it on this project. And my son just happened to have a project that he felt was higher priority on his farm, and therefore my tripod level was not accessible to me. You probably know how that goes if you have a son.
That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray, built with their hands from the forest, now stands as a marker for the grave. It still stands as a marker for the grave.
My sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall the day I met her.
Here we are, day 2 on the wall build. You can see I've got it pretty level, pretty straight. It isn't perfect, but you know, does it need to be? Nobody gets down and looks at them that close anyway. It's just as long as it's level, you know, level this way mainly, and level the length of it. That's pretty much all I'm going for. As far as the straightness along here, it's pretty straight. It's similar straight to this string, but there's no straight edge on the front of these blocks. So it's a little difficult to do without really getting down and measuring and things. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're not actually putting a drain tile in this. We're just going to backfill it with gravel. This all falls out away out here, and so the gravel will just let it drain through. I'm not worried about it at all.
In the fall, come springtime, we were married in a church house. Our love grew the summer long. Little did I know, my sweet Melinda.
By far the hardest part of a project like this is getting that first row of blocks laid flat, level, plumb, all those different directions. And once you get that, then the project is actually fairly straightforward and fairly fast, because you're just stacking blocks after that. So be sure to take a lot of time and make sure that first row goes in as nearly perfect as you can get them.
Would be gone, my sweet Melinda of the mountain. I recall the day I met her on the mountain in the fall. listening to the lonesome crickets call. Can't help but crying and remembering.
As mentioned before, once you get that first row in, the rest of it goes pretty fast. You can see I'm just moving right along there. Of course, we've got the camera speeded up about 10 times, but it doesn't take long once you get that first row in. Now, each block weighs about 70 pounds, so it is pretty heavy, and after you've lifted a bunch of those for a while, it can wear on you.
Day I lost my Melinda in the fall. My sweet Melinda of the mountain. I recall the day I lost her on the mountain. Now I'll cry forevermore. Now I'll cry forevermore. Forevermore.
Brother John is a poor, hard-working man. His life was hard, but he does the best he can. He prays to God just to thank him for his bread and a roof over his head. Brother John lost his wife when the fever came around. A gentle girl, oh, he laid her in the ground. She was his life, and her dying hit him hard till he heard the voice of God. Brother John, trouble on earth is ending. All your sorrow soon will be gone. You were a good man, you did all you could.
As you notice, we are putting crushed rock behind this wall. if you are building a wall like this, I would very highly recommend using crushed stone. Crushed stone packs very well. It goes together and makes it almost like concrete in itself. It just makes it a very strong wall and shouldn't go anyplace, yet water can pass down through it without any problem.
They're calling you home now, Brother John. Late one day, he was working in the field, the sun was low, and the earth was cool and still. He heard his wife calling, "Come join me now." He fell beside his plow. Brother John, your trouble on earth is ending. All your sorrow soon will be gone. You were a good man, you did all you could, and they're calling you home now, Brother John. Trouble on earth is ending. All your sorrow soon will be gone. You were a good man, you did all you could, and they're calling you home now, Brother John. Weathered and worn, with the hinges all rusted and the fabric all torn, but still cradled inside was one old precious thing. It was Grandpa's old fiddle, oh how sweetly it rings. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melodies. He played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. The most honest man that I ever have seen, and his time on this old earth was most precious.
Though it didn't really show up well in the video, after the fourth row we laid a fabric cloth. I would call it something like a fiberglass 1-inch square type cloth down, and we pinned that to the block, and then we laid the rock over the top of that fabric and put the next row of blocks on, and that kind of ties it back into the hill, and that way the wall won't pull forward, and it keeps the block in place if there is any extra pressure against the wall.
He lived on Current River at the mouth of Blue Springs, and at night the hills echoed as the old fiddle would ring. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melodies. He played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. Just a boy at the time, I remember a day when Grandpa and that old fiddle, some old tunes he did play. Well, now Grandpa, he has left us for heaven above, but he left me that old fiddle, and now I play it with love.
Also, though it didn't really show up in the video, after I got those blocks up about chest high, I started standing on the pallet and let the Bobcat lift me up so I could get the blocks up higher. I also got up on the wall in places and had the Bobcat lift them up to me and just sat them on the wall from up above. So I didn't do everything from the ground.
Fiddle played sweet melodies. He played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. The old fiddle is ringing up in heaven above.
If you like the video, please take time and give me a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. Well, I'm sure you could see I had a very relaxing time, and now I'm ready to get back to that daily grind here in the shop. Thanks for watching.
Blah, blah.